And in that start, he's faced a left-hander, too.
So here is the flying Hawaiian, Shane Victorino. And a major league strike of first as Taylor out of Miami of Ohio. It was a 10th round pick in 2006. You heard him talk about that slurvy breaking ball, kind of a cross between a curve and a slider.
Yeah, a little slower than a slider, maybe not quite as much of a break as a big curveball.
He's always been known, coming up in the Marlins system, for his walk to strikeout ratio. But you go back to that 2007 season when he was the minor league pitcher of the year. He struck out 135 and he walked 18. Here's his 2-2. And he misses down low to Victorino.
You know, he's one of those guys, too, Rich, that made a start in spring training on the 29th of March against the Nationals and kind of opened some eyes. He had success. He came in kind of a last-minute replacement. Freddie didn't want to use, I believe, Ricky Nolasco. I think he wanted Ricky to pitch in a minor league game. Taylor came up and did a nice job.
2 springs ago, he pitched on this mound against the Yankees. The 3-2 pitch. And he walks him. So maybe some jitters here, making his major league debut. Not the guy you want to walk. Victorino, very good stolen base guy, and the Phillies certainly have put the pressure on the Marlins and run in this series.
Well, and you're right about the jitters. There's no question about that. You're 24 years old. You're making your debut against the world champions.
Here's Bruntlett now. It was Bruntlett who played a lot of shortstop early last year when Rollins tweaked his ankle and Taylor misses low and inside. Bruntlett plays all over the place. He's kind of the Phillies version of Alfredo Amezaga. He can play in the infield, he can play in the outfield. Taylor quick to the plate, and he's fallen behind here 2-0, and that's going to get a visit from his catcher Ronnie Paulino. And
yeah, Ronnie's just going to try to settle him down. Hanley comes to the mound. Say, hey, let him hit a ground ball to me, we'll get a double play.
Our weather brought to you by Miccosukee Resort and Gaming. Come play our way. 80 degrees. And the wind, which was a factor last night, 21 miles per hour.
And I think the interesting thing today in Philadelphia, it's 88 degrees. Got a heat wave going up in the Northeast.
Well, the youngster now has fallen behind Bruntlett at 3-0. Certainly it's a moment every player dreams about from the time they're a kid and they first pick up a glove and a ball to the time they're in the minor leagues, climbing up the ladder from single A to double A to triple A or on into the big leagues. And this moment comes now for Taylor, who comes back and misses on a fastball that didn't miss by much. Jerry Lane, the home plate umpire. And now comes the teeth of the Phillies order.
Evidently high, and you're a rookie. You haven't established yourself. We'll see how that call goes all afternoon for Jerry Lane.
Yes, because the guy who's opposing Taylor is a guy that works the strike zone and will move that strike zone all over the place in Jamie Moyer.
I will say, though, if Jamie Moyer throws that pitch up there, he's going to get hit.
Yeah. Well, everything the Marlins throw up to this guy seems to get hit. Chase Utley takes outside. Utley had the RBI single in the 10th inning of last night's ball game, and he homered in the 9th inning on Friday night. But if Graham Taylor doesn't start throwing strikes, this could get ugly early. There's a breaking ball. 1-1. A lefty against lefty matchup, and if you're going to play in the same division with the Phillies, you're going to need to get lefties out. Guys like Utley, Howard, Ibanez.
Yeah, you're right about the thinking that goes through a young pitcher's mind. He's walked a couple. Okay, now you got Utley and Howard to deal with.
Victorino and Bruntlett both walked. One-two. Utley rolls over on a breaking ball, and it stays 1-2.
On the upper hand, I've always thought a pitcher, in this case Graham Taylor, the Phillies have never seen him, and so he has a little upper hand if he can command his pitches.
One-two. And so it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch count is rising. 17 pitches.
Well, that's one of the concerns that Freddie and Mark Wiley have, because he hasn't thrown a lot of innings and a lot of pitches in the minor leagues. 6 innings his longest outing this year.
Utley chops it. There's an out there. Cantu's throw out to second. And the Marlins do get an out. That's a difficult play for a first baseman. His only out was at first. Bruntlett and Victorino both run pretty well.
Yeah, all of his momentum taking him toward the bag, so he has to step on the bag. And as a right-handed thrower, very tough play. And again, we point out, if you're a lefty at first base, that's a little easier play. But Jorge took that out. You take the out in the first inning. So the concern is, if that pitch count gets up for Taylor, that the bullpen will certainly come into play early in this game.
Well, the bullpen has been in play the first 2 games of the series, and that has not gone well for the Fish. So it's Howard against the rookie. And the Marlins, with runners at second and third, will shift this way.
Yeah, Bonifacio has to remain, or excuse me, Wes Helms on the left side.
Got him to bite on the breaking ball. It's 1-1.
You know, the thing that's hard to get across to a young pitcher as he faces a guy like Ryan Howard, you go, okay, yeah, it's Ryan Howard, but hey, he struck out 199 times last year.
Yeah, these guys make outs as well. Misses on the 1-1 pitch, and it's 2-1. His reputation in the minor leagues as a strike thrower, a guy that will pitch to contact, is around the plate a lot. He jams Howard, and the pop-up is going to nestle into left field. Hanley will hold on to it, and so the kid makes a good pitch. But the Phillies get a break. You could see Howard shaking his hands.
Yeah, and that's just unfortunate with the shift on. If there is no shift, Hanley's able to get to that ball. But because he's over near second base behind the bag, he's got a long way to go. If he's in a normal shortstop position, he probably catches that. So a good pitch, but not a good result for Graham Taylor, but a good result for Howard.
You know, if the regular shift is on, like if no one's on base, Hanley is more at a shortstop spot, he'll make that play. But because Helms stayed at third and there were runners on, you're right. It ends up as a base hit. Now Worth. Last night, the undoing of Leo Nunez was a leadoff walk in the 9th, and it was Worth. The Phillies got a run, and then in the 10th, 4 consecutive singles against Logan Kensing.
You know, those walks have a way of coming back and biting you, and a leadoff walk here today scores. He is just, at this point, not getting ahead, and he needs to. He's not throwing a first pitch strike.
2-0 to Worth. Of the 4 consecutive singles against Kensing, Worth's was the last. And after the game, in order to make this move, Graham Taylor was not on the 40-man roster, so the Marlins needed to make room, and they did by designated Kensing for assignment. And that takes him off the 40-man roster. He can be claimed by another team. If he's not, he can report to the Marlins minor league system.
Yeah, and that basically means that Logan Kensing was out of options. He couldn't be optioned to AAA.
Mark Wiley is out, and he's got a tall order here. He's got to calm down a youngster who looks flustered. Will turn 25 in late May. Spent last year in Jupiter for 22 starts, and then up to Carolina for 5 starts and pitched well in both spots.
And all-star in the Florida State League, but it's a little different down the road here in Miami.
Well, we'll find out if he's able to limit the damage or if the Phillies can crack it open.
Well, what a good at-bat Ibanez had last night in that 9th inning off Leo Nunez. He saw, I think, 4 straight changeups, and the last one he stayed on, went down, just stroked it into right field.
Taylor misses inside, and Ibanez, a veteran hitter and a guy that has clobbered the Marlins. So there's not a huge sample size, but I can remember the series last year up in Seattle. Ibanez went wild against the Fish, and he has continued that. It's at .341 against the Marlins in his career. Bases filled with Phillies. Bruntlett, Howard, Worth, 3 walks, and a bloop single against a youngster making his major league debut. And Ibanez pops it up. Helms and Paulino over for a look. And it's into the seats.
Yeah, the Phillies with a couple of guys. You mentioned Ibanez's streak. Chase Utley has hit in 15 straight against the Marlins. That's not a surprise.
And the Phillies certainly in the first 2 games of this series showing why they are the world champions. Able to dig down deep with 2 9th inning rallies. Taylor trying to catch that corner. Let's see if he did.
No, he didn't, and Ibanez is patient and has a good eye up there.
2-2. Line to left. Hermita's back, makes the catch. The Phillies are going to get another run, but Taylor does get it out. So a sacrifice fly. Ibanez, his 12th RBI of the season. Both runs that have scored were walks, and here is Pedro Feliz.
You know, Davey Lopes, the first base coach with the Phillies, told me Friday that if, and I know it's a small sample size, but if you voted right now, that Ibanez would be the MVP of the Phillies with the kind of start he's gotten off to.
And that's on a team filled with MVPs.
Yeah.
Guys that have won the MVP in Howard and Rollins.
Legitimate MVPs.
Yeah. Feliz takes up. Well, Taylor's pitch count is mounting. 32 pitches now. As Tommy noted, he has yet to hit 100 pitches in the minor leagues. And so the wheels, I'm sure, are going right now, not only in the Marlins dugout, but down in the bullpen as well. Guys got to be thinking, all right, am I next?
Well, I would imagine early out of the chute would be Burke Badenhop. Badenhop and Hayden Penn, a couple of right-handers down there.
3-0 to Feliz. So it's Coast with the bases loaded. 4 walks now. for Graham Taylor. Let's see who gets up first. Penn is starting to stir. They get the weighted balls out, and that helps everybody loosen up and swing those around. But this is the soft part of the Phillies' order, a chance to get out of the inning. And a strike on the outside corner.
You know, he saw that shot of the bullpen, and Scott Proctor down there, the veteran, who the Marlins are hoping to get back, I would say hopefully by June. And he doesn't have to be here, but he wants to be in that bullpen, add a little veteran influence. There he is with no cap on, and just help out the guys as much as he can as a veteran.
0-2 pitch. Got him. So Taylor gets out of the inning. 4 walks, 1 hit, and 2 runs, and the Phillies are off to a 2-0 start. Here on Sun Sports, and the kids are hoping that this lineup can get some runs against Jamie Moyer. Cameron Maben leads it off in center. Jeremy Hermida in left. Hanley's got good numbers against Moyer. Cantus aren't bad either. Ugla has struggled. Wes Helms has hit Moyer well. So is Ronnie Polino. Cody Ross is trying to get some success against this lefty, and Graham Taylor is slotted in the 9 spot.
Yeah, it's an interesting lineup that Freddie's put together to try to solve the 46-year-old veteran Jamie Moyer. And we've talked about his 11-1 career mark against the Marlins, but even better at Dolphin Stadium, 6-0 and a 1.59 ERA here in this ballpark.
The youngster making his major league debut, and the oldest player in baseball on the mound. And his first pitch is a fastball for a strike to Cameron Maben.
I mean, this is, if you're Graham Taylor, you can't think about all this now, but this is the perfect pitcher for him to watch.
Moyer throws strike 2. When Moyer made his debut, it was 1986. The 0-2. And he made his debut against his boyhood idol. He grew up in suburban Philadelphia, and it was Steve Carlton he faced, and he beat Carlton. Moyer debuting for the Cubs, and Carlton getting the start. Carlton went 3 2/3. Moyer went 6 1/3. Cubs beat the Phils 7-5.
That was about a year before Maben was born. Who was his third baseman that day for the Cubs?
Third baseman for the Cubs that day was Davey Lopes, who was the first base coach of the Phillies. The 3-2. And he gets Maben. So Jamie Moyer is at 46. He signed a 2-year contract. He's going to pitch next year. Things that are younger than Jamie Moyer. The personal computer actually came along late in '62. So that's younger than Moyer.
We're going to have some fun with a lot of those things. Fun facts today. I came up with some of my own, too.
Did you?
Yeah. Things that are younger than Jamie Moyer. The 8th inning setup guy.
The closer role.
The closer. Yeah, it's kind of borderline, but you could even say the closer.
The designated hitter. Here's the 1-1 to Hermida.
Pitch counts.
Jeremy takes up and in. Hermida's 3 for 13 with a home run. Look how quickly Moyer is working right now.
He goes through periods. When he gets in a situation with a couple of runners on, he really slows it down. But then he has periods where he gets it and throws it and doesn't waste much time.
Here's his 2-2. Hermida and the Marlins have scored all of their runs in this series on home runs. That is a perfect pitch. Moyer has carved up 2 Marlins here in the first.
Just perfect pitches. There's the defense. Ibanez, Victorino, and Worth in the outfield. You saw Bruntlett in the game. He's giving Jimmy Rollins a day off. Chris Coast behind the plate. It was Bruntlett who started 28, 29 games in a row last year when Rollins was on the disabled list.
Now Hanley has had success against Moyer. .355 with 4 home runs. And Moyer stays away from it. Hanley last night had 2 hits, including a double. Had a couple of doubles in the first game of this series. So his bat's starting to heat up a little bit. He's hit in 7 straight.
It's kind of a mix and match in the Marlins lineup today. Guys that have had success against Moyer and some that have not. There really aren't many in between.
Moyer with a chance to climb up the Major League all-time wins list and put himself in a tie for 44th with Vic Willis at 249. Moyer 248 career wins. There's the changeup.
Changeup. He changes speeds on the changeup.
Among left-handers all time, he's 11th in baseball history at 248. Carl Hubble is next at 253.
Pretty good company. Pretty good company for a guy who started his career 59 and 76.
Active leaders. Hanley gets on that pitch, lines it to left. Ibanez, a dive. Did he make the catch? He did. Robbing Hanley. Raul Ibanez, back in his hometown, has made a couple of nice plays in this series.
presentado por KFC.
Kid Sunday, kids everywhere around the ballpark. Kid on the mound for the Fish. Graham Taylor's major league debut. About the only, I guess, silver lining from a messy first inning is that he gets to face the pitcher to lead off here in the second.
And he's fallen behind 2-0. He's thrown 40 pitches, 24 balls, and just 16 strikes.
There's a strike. And it's 2-1. So it's Moyer, then back up to Victorino and Bruntlett. That's inside, and it's 3-1. There's a strike. Taylor may have picked up his tempo, and I suspect that's Mark Wiley's suggestion. It's something that Wiley has really preached with the Marlins starters. Ooh, it hits Moyer.
So a 3-2 pitch, and he misses that badly.
Fortunately for a guy like Moyer, it's his pitching arm that's protected. It's the right arm that gets hit.
Number 8, center fielder Shane Victorino.
Here's Victorino now. Victorino walked back in the first. 4 walks in the first. The only hit was that bleeder off the bat of Ryan Howard, which was one of the best pitches that Taylor made in the inning. The Philadelphia Phillies are 8-8, but they may be the most fascinating 8-8 team in baseball. All 8 of their wins this year have been come from behind wins, which leads the majors. They also lead the majors with most runs scored in the 7th inning on. Popped up, Ugla makes the catch.
By the way, Jamie Moyer has done a lot of things in his career, established a lot of records. It's the first time he's ever been hit. Of course, he spent a lot of time in the American League, but over 300 at-bats in the big leagues.
He's never stolen a base, which is understandable.
What was it last year? Greg Maddux stole a base for the Padres.
Here's Bruntlett. Oh, 0-2 to Bruntlett. We're talking about things that were younger than Jamie Moyer. And we talked about Moyer's debut in '86 when he beat Carlton. Maddux, you just brought his name up. He made his debut in a Moyer start later that year. Moyer started against Nolan Ryan in September of that year. Maddux came in the 18th inning of that game and got the loss. The center fielder for Houston in that game, Davey Lopes.
He's everywhere.
Lopes was at third for the Cubs earlier that year. Ross with a diving catch. And some great defense out there. Picks up Graham Taylor.
That's why you have to throw strikes. You're at this level, you're going to have some good defense played behind you, and Cody Ross makes an excellent grab. Good dive and holds on. So let's see, to make that comparison again, Davey Lopes and I were teammates a couple of years in AAA in Spokane, Washington. So there's always a connection.
So Lopes was playing for the Cubs earlier that year when Moyer debuted, and then he was playing for the Astros later that year when Maddux debuted on that same team. He takes a strike.
We're talking about Maddux with that stolen base last year. Last year, in the entire month of July, the Padres have had one stolen base, and it was Maddux's.
One and one to Utley with 2 outs. And Taylor misses down low. The Phillies, after this, head back home where they face the Nationals, and then the Mets come to town to open up May. The Marlins, of course, are headed to New York to face the Mets tomorrow night. And then it's on to Chicago to see the Cubs.
So a tough road trip. Some good teams. The Mets for 3, and then a 4-game series at Wrigley.
Just missed. Paulino doing all he can to try to frame that pitch, bring it up a little bit.
Trying to get it up just a little bit.
So it's Howard again. Taylor got in on his hands back in the first. That was the pop-up that fell for a base hit.
Again, just not getting ahead and allowing himself to make a couple of pitches.
Scorched. There's Ugla in shallow right, playing the rover position. And he makes the catch. Howard hit it on the button, and the youngster survives the second. 2-0 Phillies. First Tommy's tips of the day.
You know, one of the first things I learned as a kid was that you can always hustle. You can't always get base hits. You can't always have superstar qualities. But Hanley, first time around, didn't hustle. His manager spoke to him a little bit. His manager got through to him last night. Going hard out of the box immediately, gets himself a double. You can have great tools, you can have mediocre tools, but you can all hustle. So that's always a good tip for kids.
Well, the Marlins in a 2-0 hole against a guy that has been their nemesis or their nightmare ever since the Phillies acquired him. Pat Gillick was Moyer's general manager in Seattle and brought him to Philadelphia. And Moyer has been a nice addition to the rotation. And certainly against the Marlins, he's just been lights out. Tommy talked about the numbers in this ballpark, 6-0 with a 1.59 ERA. Cantu's had success against him, 3.16. One and one.
Now somebody should have called Ryan Braun of the Milwaukee Brewers, because Moyer beat the Brewers 11-4 his last outing, but Braun took him deep twice.
Cantu to right, and Worth is back there.
That's a good approach, though. That's the approach a right-handed hitter needs to have. Try to stay back and drive some balls that way.
Other things that are younger than J.B. Moyer. The zip codes. Moyer is now a Florida resident. Moved his family to Bradenton. Ugla takes a strike. All right, break this matchup down, Tommy.
Yeah, that's been a tough one for Dan Ugla. Just 5 for 29 in his career against Jamie Moyer, and he has not taken him deep.
Phillies going to his left. Very good third baseman, makes the play. And so far, Moyer has retired all 5 that he has faced. Fish Friday on the 15th. Manny Ramirez and the Dodgers at 7:10. You can grab a CBS 4 for $54 pack. Play Billy Bingo for your chance to win one of 100 authentic Hanley Ramirez gloves. 1-877 Marlins. Here's Helms. Now he's 4 for 7 in his career against Moyer. West getting the start at third base. Emilio Bonifacio, who is slumping, gets the day off. But I think this would have been the matchup regardless, just because of Helms' success against the lefty. Moyer gets a glove on it, fires to first, and 1, 2, 3 go the Fish. He has retired all 6 he's faced. In the Big Apple, well, tonight, getting ready for Monday and Tuesday on Fox Sports Florida. Wednesday on Sun Sports in high definition. You don't want to miss that game. That is Johan Santana and Josh Johnson rematch of that day where they dueled here at Dolphin Stadium. And the Marlins get a look, their first look at brand new Citi Field. Do you think Craig Minervini will be higher than a kite tomorrow night?
Well, I think our fans are going to get a nice inside look at Citi Field as well. As you mentioned, Monday on Sun Sports, and Tuesday and Wednesday, FS Florida.
Jason Worth got a scouting report from Ron Darling, who's working the game for TBS
What
today.
did what Ron have to say?
He said, first of all, Tommy's going to love the new booth. Second of all, he said the ballpark's beautiful, and they did it right. And so it may not have the majesty of the new Yankee Stadium or the price tag, so to speak, but from all accounts, they did it right. Jason Worth swings and misses.
I tell you, it's amazing, and this just is a perfect example. Taylor was able to get ahead. By getting ahead, now he pulls the string. Good changeup in a perfect spot, a Jamie Moyer type changeup to get Jason Worth. Yeah, I don't think Citi Field has the issues with balls jetting out as home runs. That's one of the issues at Yankee Stadium.
Ibanez, oh, nice play. Cantu with the glove steps on the bag. And as we've talked about for Taylor, if he could just let his defense make some plays behind him, if he could just get him the ball, he can get some outs.
Yeah, there have been some hard hit balls, but they've been at guys. Line drive to right. That ball that Howard hit to Dan Uggla.
Here's Felice.
A little difference when you get ahead.
This, of course, is the spot for Andrew Miller in the rotation. And Miller out with the oblique strain, out for at least a couple more weeks. Were Taylor to survive this start and stay in the rotation, his next start would be against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. The Cubs have issues right now. Derek Lee is not hitting. Giovanni Soto is not hitting.
Derek Lee's under 200.
Milton Bradley is injured, although he has promised not to snap.
Yeah, one of their hot hitters has been Kosuke Fukudomi. He's gotten off to a good start.
He was the guy that frustrated everybody last year.
Especially Lou, his manager.
That's not a guy you want to frustrate either. Broken back, ground ball. Helms has it. Fires across. How about that? 1, 2, 3 for the kid.
Good job.
Bottom of the third coming up. 2-0 Phillies.
Frankfort with you. Marlins trail 2-0. He's not a kid. He's 19 years old. His name is Graham Johnson. He is also a pitcher. He's in extended spring training right now. 6th round draft pick last year for the Marlins. You got all the guys from extended spring here, Graham. What's it like coming to the big league ballpark and getting a look firsthand at where you hope to be in a couple of years?
It's pretty cool seeing, what we're all trying to achieve is where we want to be, in the next 3, 4, maybe 5 years. So this is the real deal. This is the people that we look up to, and hopefully someday there'll be kids just like us looking up to us.
Only pitched 3 games last year in Gulf Coast, so you're in extended spring still, and you'll be in the minor league system later in this year. You're 6'6". You fit that Marlin profile, the big pitcher. What kind of stuff do you have?
4-seam, 2-seam fastball, a slider, and a changeup. Most people have the same pitches, but different frame.
You're sitting up here with Casey Fry and Edgar Olmos, a couple of other pitchers, as we got a base hit by Ronnie Paulino. And you're watching Graham Taylor pitch in his major league debut. I'm sure you'd be nervous if you were out there.
Definitely, going from the different, it's a whole different picture than minor leagues. Not that I pitched much there, but it's pretty cool. And it's kind of funny seeing a guy that we were just playing with, at the same level and pitching against, in inter-squad games being out here. So I could just imagine the pressure he's feeling right now.
Especially going against guys like Utley and Howard.
Yeah, you get to see the Phillies your first game. That's a pretty big deal. So, know what he's up against.
All right, guys, appreciate it. These guys, by the way, Rich and Tommy, all Dodger fans from California. So, Tommy, they're your kind of guys.
Cody Ross. Ronnie Paulino's base hit to left field makes him 4 for 6 in his career against Moyer. That's a nice thing to have on your roster.
And how about Ronnie this year is 7 for 15 against left-handed pitching. He came in with that resume, an over 350 average in his career against left-handers.
Now, if he could just impart some of that knowledge to Cody Ross, because Moyer absolutely has baffled Ross. 3 for 26 in his career against the lefty.
The other thing that's troublesome to a few of the Marlins hitters, not only have they struggled against Moyer, they've struggled against left-handed pitching this year. And Cody falls into that category too.
One, two. Ross trying to stay alive. There are his splits. Lefties, righties in his career.
In his career, he's been better. He's just gotten off to a slow start this year against lefties. So that usually evens out. Moyer trying to nibble inside, tries to throw that cut fastball. That's how he keeps right-handed hitters honest.
And that cut fastball is the pitch that has allowed him to have success in the big leagues. Ross pulls it foul. We've told the story a couple of times that he was up and down in the major leagues, came up with the Cubs, pitched in Texas, St. Louis, was released, signed by Detroit, and when he was in the minor leagues with Detroit, kind of a middle-aged pitcher at that point, Buddy Groom taught him the cut fastball. And Cody Ross drives one into left field. And as you pointed out, Tommy, that cut fastball allowed him to get right-handers out, and all of a sudden his career took off.
Yeah, because now the slow off-speed stuff that moves away from righties is an excellent pitch. This time, a little bit of a mistake. It's out over the plate, and nice going, Cody Ross. He has solved Jamie Moyer and hopes to add on to that. Now we'll find out if Graham Taylor can bunt, because that's what he'll be asked to do here.
Well, the entire Phillies infield is gathered around Moyer right now, and I'm sure they're talking about this bunt situation.
Rich, do you think Buddy Groom, as he's retired now from the game of baseball, sits at home and thinks, why didn't I have the career that Jamie Moyer had?
Well, Groom had the cut fastball. He just gave it to Moyer. He may not have had the changeup that Moyer had to go with it. Taylor squares and takes a strike. Now, if you're going to bunt against somebody for the first time in the big leagues, Moyer's not a bad guy to bunt against, because he's not going to come up with heat. He doesn't have a wicked slider or a cut fast. I mean, a real diving dive bomber sinker.
And even though Ryan Howard's coming in, he's the guy you want to bunt it to because he could throw it away.
The trouble is there's no speed at second with Paulino. And the Phillies know that. In fact, Paulino was a Philly in spring training.
Yeah, most of spring training. And again, this is that situation I talk about often, especially when a pitcher's up there. He's going to be bunting even with 2 strikes. This is when you just have to try to drop it right back down to the pitcher. You don't have to be perfect with it and go up either line.
The wheel play is on.
And looked like he was trying to be too perfect and push it toward third. When you get to that point, drop it out on the grass. 7 or 8 out of 10 times you're going to get yourself a sacrifice bunt.
Goes as a strikeout. 3 strikeouts for Moyer, first time through. Something else that is younger than Jamie Moyer.
What's that?
Well, I'm told that due to technical difficulties, it's coming after the next pitch. Maben shortens the bunt and takes down low. Cameron Maben struck out back in the first. Fouled at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 2-0 Phillies. 1968, Yale admitted a woman for the first time.
Fun facts on this Kid Sunday. This is the kind of pitcher that a young kid like Cameron Maben wouldn't even see in the minor leagues.
You brought up the point a few times, not only with the Moyer start or a Maddox start, is that if a scout went to a college game and Moyer was pitching, they would,
He'd turn around and leave. He wouldn't bring the radar gun, and he'd find another game.
So Maben, I don't know if he thought that was strike 3, because he finished his swing and started walking towards the dugout. It's 2-2.
But just that slow changeup, downward movement away. That's how he got Cameron in the first inning.
That's down, and it's 3-2. Hermita's on deck. Couple of singles here in the third. Ground ball out there. Utley's turn, not in time. And that'll get Hermita another at bat.
Ball hit well, but picked by the sure hands of Pedro Feliz, and really just the speed of Cameron Maben beats this out. A lot of guys, this is a 5-4-3 double play. Utley with a strong throw, good turn, but Cameron just gets there in time.
Is there a better third baseman defensively in the National League than Feliz?
According to the coaches and managers, yes, because David Wright's won the Gold Glove. And you'd probably have a hard time arguing with Mets fans about that.
Oh, I think David Wright's a terrific third baseman.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that last night.
And very good defensively. But, man, Feliz's fielding percentage, he seems to have great range. He was kind of hidden in San Francisco for those years. Hermita yanks it foul.
He actually had better offensive years, his years with the Giants.
Moyer goes over trying to keep Maben close. Armida called out on strikes in the first. He's 3 for 14 against Moyer. Fish would love to get Hanley some swings with runners on base, because Hanley is one of the guys that has lit Moyer up. Howard at first steps on the bag, and the Marlins leave a couple and are still frustrated here and down 2-0. Off to a rocky start, but he's kind of settled into this game. 2-0 Phillies.
Yeah, we're going to give you a little example of how things have happened. He started off just the nerves took over, and in that first inning he walked 4. A little bloop base hit by Ryan Howard produced a run. And all of a sudden he got a talk from his pitching coach Mark Wiley. Looked like he finished things off that inning with a good changeup, then speeded things up, got the tempo going, got some defense behind him. When you work faster, you usually get nice defense. There's a line drive. Dan Uggla with the play. Good pick by Wes Helms. So all of a sudden he made some good pitches, got some defense, and things are starting to work out a lot better.
Chris Coast out to center field. Cameron Maben was there. You saw the tail end of it. And so an out here in the 4th. And here's Moyer, who was actually hit by a pitch back in the 2nd. And Taylor misses inside. It's 1-0. I think the noticeable difference in him is his tempo and how quickly he worked in the 3rd inning and how quickly he's trying to work here in the 4th. And as you noted, the perfect guy for Taylor to emulate and watch is Moyer, and that's the tempo that Moyer's used. Moyer lines one into center field, a base hit. They can't keep this guy off the bases.
He can't do anything wrong against the Marlins.
Enter the Duck, who is also younger than Jamie Moyer, I might add. Who holds the Phillies record for career games caught. Oh, a Philly catching question. Is it Mike Lieberthal? Bob Boone?
Bob Boone, perhaps.
A strike to Victorino. Victorino calling for time, and the Phillies feeling that Taylor's tempo is a little too fast for them. One ball, one strike.
Well, one thing with Moyer at first base, Jorge Cantu doesn't have to hold him, so he can cover a little ground. He's playing behind him.
That's a strike. Popped him up. Wes Helms charging in and makes the catch. The next Family Sunday is on the 17th. The Dodgers are still in town that weekend, a 1:10 start. Kids can get a Hanley Ramirez glove courtesy of Qdoba Mexican Grill. You can bring the family to the strike zone early for Family Sunday. 1-877-MARLINS or marlins.com. Bruntlett fouls it back.
Yeah, what a difference it makes when you calm down a little bit and you settle in. And it's been great watching Graham Taylor these last couple of innings.
Paulino thinking about throwing behind Moyer at first.
He moves pretty good for a 46-year-old.
And he doesn't even have a hyperbaric chamber like Ibanez. Two and one. Kind of floats a changeup in there for a strike. It's 2-2. Counts full, 3-2. So with 2 outs, Moyer will be on the move. Bruntlett takes a big swing and pops it into shallow left center. That's trouble. Hermita's on, and it pops out of his glove. Hanley picks it up. Everybody was out on the outfield, and so there's nobody at second. That means Bruntlett is now at second.
That ball has to be caught either by Jeremy Hermita or Hanley Ramirez. Hanley got tough play for him. See, he backs off because he hears Hermita calling. So no problem there for Hanley. Jeremy Hermita just didn't get there in enough time and couldn't make the catch. But you saw Hanley going back, and then all of a sudden you saw him drop back and pull off. So he heard Hermita calling for it. And it's going to be a base hit, but that ball has to be caught. And the tough part, here comes Utley, and Howard's on deck.
Let's see if Taylor can get out of this now. So 2 of the hits were little pop-ups that landed in about the same spot. The blooper by Howard and that one by Bruntlett. The other was a Jamie Moyer single.
That's been the hardest single, the hardest base hit.
Utley goes after the curveball. It's 0-2. Graham Taylor, 24.
Born in Covington, Kentucky. I would guess probably a Reds fan.
'2006 draft pick, so he's been able to get to the big leagues rather quickly as a college pitcher at Miami of Ohio. I wonder if Miami of Ohio ever faced Bowling Green, Burke Badenhop's alma mater. I suspect they are in the same conference. Aren't they in the, what is it, the MAC? Utley reaches out. That's another pop-up, and that is going to fall in as well. And the Phillies have their 3rd run as Bruntlett scores.
Boy, that one hurts because the inning should have been over on the bloop that Bruntlett hit into left field.
third and fourth runs. Moyer scoring in front of Bruntlett. That really hurts.
Pretty good pitch off the end of the bat, and that's why it didn't travel very far. Maben couldn't get there, and Utley gets RBIs 15 and 16 on the year. He's still a ways from Albert Pujols, so Pujols with a grand slam last night, has hit 2 grand slams this year, has 25 RBIs already.
Well, the hardest hit balls have been outs, but it's the soft pop-ups and bleeders that have done the damage. And of course, Taylor hasn't helped himself by walking a slew of Phillies. He had 4 walks in the first inning, a walk and a hit batter in the second. And he nearly hits Howard. And at 94 pitches, you suspect that this might be the last inning for Graham Taylor.
Yeah, you talked about the 2 pitchers, just about a year and a half difference in age in Badenhop and Taylor. So they may have pitched against each other. You're right.
Badenhop is ready in the bullpen. You've got Jason Worth on deck, a right-handed bat. The 3-1. It's outside. And you wonder if that was exactly where I was headed. I don't think Freddie's going to let the lefty face Worth. He's going to go get Badenhop and let Badenhop go after Worth. So Graham Taylor here in the 4th gives up a couple of bloopers, and the Phillies put 2 more on the board, and he exits. Marmarooney called to the bullpen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call? Maroon.
With 4 hits, none of the 4 hits all that impressive, but certainly Taylor with himself to blame for the 5 walks and a hit batter, actually 6 walks and a hit batter. That last walk of Howard, his 6th. And so Burke Badenhop comes out of the bullpen, and the Hopper will face Jason Worth with 2 outs.
You know, you see those numbers on Badenhop. He actually pitched much better coming out of the bullpen last year than as a starter. Out of the bullpen, he was 1-0 and had an ERA just a little over 3. Good sinker, good breaking ball. You know, seeing that shot of Graham Taylor, you know, the excitement of getting here, the call up. Obviously, this was not how he had it mapped out in his head.
For a guy like Badenhop who relies on that sinker, sometimes the extra workload of being in the bullpen, does that help a sinker?
Usually not. Usually a sinker baller likes a lot of work and likes to pitch.
Two and two. Utley at second, Howard's at first. Phillies with 2 more runs here in the 4th. Didn't catch the corner. Veteran umpire Jerry Lane behind home plate. That is strike 3 call. So Badenhop went right back after that corner and got it. Worth is out. Phillies get 2 more. And it's 4-0 Philadelphia. Marlins baseball and Sun Sports brought to you by Marooney. Hey, South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? 1-877-MAROONEY. And by Checkers, little place, big taste. Phillies out there. It's a kid Sunday. How about a Tommy's tip? Let's talk bunting.
Well, we saw the attempts by Graham Taylor, and the body just wasn't there. The bat wasn't at a good position. And as I've mentioned, he tried to be just perfect and take it up that third baseline, especially with 2 strikes. When you're in that situation, just go back to the mound with it. Dump it right onto the grass, and you probably are going to be successful.
Hanley takes a cut at a first pitch from Moyer and sends it out to right field. And so not only are the Marlins down 4-0 to the Phillies, but they're down to Jamie Moyer. Cantu is up with Uggla to follow. Moyer has been his regular self against the Fish, allowing just 2 hits. Goes back in the 3rd. He has struck out 3 and walked no one. Cantu flied to deep right his first time up.
You know, there's so many amazing stats about Jamie Moyer. The fact that as a 40-year-old, he's gone 82-60. He's won 82 games as a 40-year-old.
As a Philly, he's gone 37-22. Last year and the year before, he started and won both National League East clinching games. Remember in 07, it was that last day when the Marlins beat the Mets at Shea, and the Phillies clinched 3 or 4 days before the last day last year. Remember, the Mets were battling the Brewers for the wild card on that last day. The Phillies had already clinched the East, but Moyer started and won both of those games. And a lot of people thought when the Phillies got him that There'd be no way he would survive in that ballpark at Citizens Bank Park. And all he's done is gone 16-8 in that park in his career.
I think it's interesting as a Philly, you mentioned 37-22, but 26-20 as a Philly against other teams other than the Marlins.
Cantu takes down low. There is walk number 1.
Yeah, I think Moyer wanted that pitch too.
Things that are younger than Jamie Moyer. Daylight savings time. But as I said, he signed a 2-year contract in the offseason. So he will be pitching next year at age 47. Smacked up the middle, off the glove of Bruntlett. Uggla has a hit against Moyer, and that's cause for celebration.
Boy, get the ball, Daniel. You stayed back, you went up the middle, and you hit it hard. Nice going. And for a moment, it looked like we were going to see another great play made on a ball hit hard by Dan Uggla. Bruntlett gets his glove on it, but it just trickles away.
Well, now you've got two guys who have hit Moyer well coming up. In Helms, who's 4 for 8 in his career, and Paulino, who's 4 for 6 in his career. Marlins looking for their first run. In fact, they're looking for their first run of this series that is not a home run. Not that they wouldn't take a 3-run shot here by Helms, but all of the Marlins' runs in this series have come via the long ball. Helms to center. Victorino back. Reaches up, makes the catch. Cantu scampers back, and he tags, and he's on his way to third. But retreating to first is Uggla. Helms hit it a long ways.
We talked a little bit about that in the opening of the telecast about the long ball and how early on when the Marlins were winning a lot of games, they were producing runs in other fashion, and it was somebody different. It was a Bonifacio one night. It was a Jeremy Hermida. It was a Cantu. It was an Uggla. So everybody participated, and lately it's just been that long ball.
And that's one of the odd notes about this Phillies team. Phillies pitchers have allowed at least 1 home run in all 16 of their games. That's a major league record. Moyer's given up 5 long balls in his 3 starts. And here's Paulino, who singled back in the third. Moyer being very careful with him. It's 2-0. Tomorrow night in New York, Anibal Sanchez, John Maine. Strike. Paulino is probably thinking to himself, it wasn't a strike when I was behind the plate. Move to first.
Durable. Moyer has been 30 or more starts, 8 straight years.
That misses inside. And it's 3-1. Paulino trying to yank a 78-mile-an-hour, maybe a cut fastball. I think the changeup is usually in the low 70s.
Yeah, it was just a pitch that you shouldn't try to yank, though. That's a pitch you try to go into right center with, but 3-1, he took a big hack.
The 3-2. I was going to say, as that one is foul, I was going to say that it was a batting practice fastball. But just about everything Moyer throws that is a fastball can be considered a batting practice fastball.
Well, that's what's amazing when you see the scouting reports on him. he changes speeds off. I mean, he has a changeup off his changeup.
Let's see what Paulino gets. 3-2. Popped him up. Howard makes the catch. And the Marlins leave 2 more and still trail 4-0. Kentucky Grilled Chicken. Stop in on Monday, April 27th. Get 1 piece of Kentucky Grilled Chicken for free.
Jamie Moyer ha sido un dominio completo, algo que hace de costumbre.
No, correcto. Y ahora
press the sap button. And Cookie and Raul. Hi, guys.
Hey,
Rich, Tommy,
Richie, how are you guys?
Hey, good. Cookie, I want to find out what soft-tossing left-hander gave you trouble, or did they?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that's the worst part of any pitcher that goes against you. They throw a lot of changeups and speeds, and like Moyer, with the same arm speed, is very difficult to hit, and those guys really kill me.
Did you face Tommy John much?
I sure did.
And he's similar, isn't he, in style?
That's exactly right. He had that sinker fastball, that slow curveball, and then, he used that cutter also, too. Pretty good control. He threw strikes. That's the key about Jamie Moyer.
Hey, Tommy, did you ever face Tanana?
No, but he had 2 careers. He had one career where he threw really hard, and then another career where he threw soft.
After the Tommy John surgery, as a matter of fact, yeah.
Isn't that ironic how Tommy John helped out in both cases?
True. Absolutely.
All right, guys, have a good show.
All right,
you
guys.
too, fellas.
My best Frank Tanana line is one that he said. He said in the 70s he threw in the 90s, and then the 90s he threw in the 70s. And had success both ways.
Pedro Feliz now. Burke Badenhop and his assortment of sinkers and breaking pitches, trying to keep the Philly bats quiet, see if the Marlins can rally in this ball game. Check swing. Jerry Lane says you went around. Feliz doesn't offer much of an argument. He's walked and bounced out.
And so far, you have to like the job that Badenhop has done. He's come in, he's thrown strikes. He got out of that 4th inning. And he's making good pitches here in the 5th.
Hopper's one of those guys that has a tough time throwing a ball straight. He has a natural sink to it.
Yeah, kind of that frisbee slider.
So that one really run in on the hands.
Ran in on him good.
Man.
And another bloop base hit. It's amazing the hits that the Phillies have gotten. Moyer probably hit the hardest ball.
Duck arrives.
At fly.
A Philly catching question. Who holds the record for career games caught? I'm going Lieberthal on this.
All right, I'll go Boone.
At fly.
Mike Lieberthal.
1,139 games. Here's Coates. He chops one foul.
Watch this pitch to Pedro Feliz. Sinker moves inside, starts off the plate. Look at where it ends up. I mean, that pitch started off the plate, jammed him, and he blooped it into left field for a hit.
So Utley's 2-run hit was a bloop. Feliz's hit was a bloop. Howard's hit was a bloop. Bruntlett's hit was a bloop.
Yeah, like I said, Moyer hit the hardest base hit today.
So the Phillies have 5 hits, 4 of them bloop hits. But of course, for Graham Taylor, his issues were more than just that. 6 walks and a hit batter. Coast is no spring chicken. I mean, we're talking age-wise. He's 36. The record for the oldest pitcher-catcher combo was actually set by Moyer when Pat Borders caught him 3 or 4 years ago. Borders, I believe, was 42 or 43, and Moyer was 44. That's the oldest battery, I believe, in Major League history.
What a career Pat Borders had.
Yeah, you talk about a guy that was a great receiver and pitchers love to throw to. Helms, Ugla, Cantu. The hopper gets a double play and is pitched nicely in relief of Graham Taylor. 4-0 Phillies on a Kid Sunday. Burke Badenhop in relief gets himself a checkers double play.
Well, he makes another good pitch. Ran a ball into Coast. Got the ground ball. 5-4-3 on the double play. And the hopper continues to keep it a 4-0 game. That's all you want your middle reliever to do. Nicely turned by Wes Helms and Dan Ugly.
So Jamie Moyer climbs up to the mound here in the 5th. Cody Ross. Burke Badenhop is on deck. And then Cameron Maben. Ross, a base hit against Moyer. A swing and a miss and a changeup. Ross's base hit, a rare one against Moyer. He's now 4 for 27. Nationals have a 2-1 lead over the Mets early in that one in the second. Hey, Cody pokes it into right field. He's 2 for 2 against Moyer.
Cody Ross has got the Jamie Moyer puzzle solved today. And with a good swing there. It's another thing we saw a lot of. Remember, we were talking about the difference in the home run ball and generating runs earlier in the year. I think we pointed out a number of base hits where guys were going the other way. That's a good swing by Cody.
Badenhop trying to bunt. All right, we've already had a Tommy's Tips on this with Graham Taylor at the plate. Now Burke Badenhop is trying to lay down a bunt.
And as you pointed out, Rich, Jamie Moyer, if you're attempting to bunt, it's going to be a lot easier bunting off Jamie Moyer than Daniel Cabrera or somebody throwing mid-90s that doesn't have a whole lot of control.
Badenhop drops it down. Coast is going to go to second. Safe. Coast gambled and lost. And that illustrates your point perfectly.
Yeah, that wasn't that great a bunt, and it really didn't get to the grass. He kind of deadens it. Yeah, it didn't even get to the grass. A great jump by Cody from first, and just a little bit of a bobble there, and that's one of the reasons I think Cody was called safe. Not a good gamble by Chris Coast because of the score. His team's leading 4-0. He needs to go after sure outs as opposed to gambling. Now the Marlins have an opportunity to have a big inning. It's a sacrifice and a fielder's choice.
Maben takes a low strike, and it's 0-1. Maben is struck out and bounced into a fielder's choice. One and one. Marlins trying to get on the board with a couple runners here in the fifth. That's a strike.
Well, I think the tough part, and for a young hitter, this is a tough matchup, but when you see something up from Jamie Moyer, you have to come out of your shoes because he doesn't miss up there very often.
Pretty good pitch.
Look at Moyer camp. He's saying he nodded his head. He wanted to see, was that down? That's his question to Jerry Lane. That looked like a pretty good pitch.
And if you're Maben, anything close is probably going to be a strike here. And he went after a dive bomber. So Moyer gets a big strikeout here in the fifth. Hyundai Road ahead on to New York for 3. Afternoon game on Wednesday. Remember, that's a Santana JJ matchup. All of those games on Fox Sports Florida. And then high definition for the Cubs on Thursday and Friday afternoon. Hermida swings and misses.
Marlins today, Rich, 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position.
Hermida got jammed.
If the losing continues, if the Marlins don't put things together and start winning, not necessarily at the pace they were at when they went 11-1, some decisions I think are going to have to be made as far as all the strikeouts. Cameron Maven, Emilio Bonifacio, a couple of guys that started this year with question marks.
Outside corner, and you heard Hermida react to that with Jerry Lane. He did not like that call.
Well, that to me was probably a worse pitch than the one that was called, the ball that Moyer argued about. This is a little makeup maybe. And yeah, the pitch that Moyer threw earlier to Maven was more of a strike than this one. And I think Hermida has a pretty good beef. And Moyer, with his experience, got that call and maybe got one back. Tough time, though, for a hitter when you get the pitcher getting one back and it's on strike 3.
Hanley. That pitch misses, and it's 1-0.
Kind of inconsistent, I think, Jerry Lane's been today.
Hanley's 0 for 2. Though he hit a line drive hard out to left back in the first.
Boy, a gust of wind out there. You saw paper wrapper fly by the mound. Looks like Moyer has something in his eye.
The inning opened with a single by Ross. Badenhop reached on his sacrifice bunt, but 2 strikeouts have followed, and it's 2-0 to Hanley. Hanley comes out of his shoes and the bat comes out of his hand. Everybody okay?
Well, this is one you don't want to get up and reach. You just want to duck on that one. Take cover.
That's a hard-earned souvenir. The 2-1. Into center field. That's a base hit. Ross around third. He's going to score. And so the Marlins have a run. Hanley delivers. 8 straight games now for Hanley.
Well, we've talked about Hanley having good at-bats, and I think it's clear, and we've seen it today, when right-handers have that good at-bat against Moyer, they're going up the middle or to right field. And that ball stung right back up the middle.
Cantu has lined out and has walked. I think there's that pitch you talked about. Whenever you see something high from Moyer, you try to jump on it. Cantu yanked it foul.
Yeah, mainly, and the reason being he just doesn't miss up there that often. And that's going to be a little easier to hit, a little easier to get to than that change-up or that cutter.
Firestone leaderboard. Home RBIs this year. Hanley and Badenhop aboard with 2 outs. 1-2 pitch. Moyer thought he had strike 3, and now Moyer is upset at Jerry Lane.
Yeah, he's flustered. I mean, he got a call. I think he got a call on the pitch to Hermida. That's a better pitch than the one to Hermida. So you can see why Moyer is upset.
Moyer telling Chris Coast, let's run through another sequence of signs. And Coast is going to go out and talk to Moyer. We've been going throughout the ball game on things that are younger than Jamie Moyer. Walmart, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the ABA Super Bowl, 60 Minutes, The Gap, and the New York City Marathon.
Except all the guys on 60 Minutes are older than Jamie Moyer.
Without a doubt. Two. Cantu golfs it left field deep. Ibanez back to the wall. And he's got it at the wall. Raul Ibanez has made 3 big catches in this series. This is the 3rd.
I'm Elise, and you're watching Kids Sunday on Sun Sport. Now back to you, Rich and Tommy.
Wow.
Thanks, girls.
Kids Sunday. And on Kids Sunday, a 46-year-old is beating the Marlins right now. Jamie Moyer and the Phillies on top of the Fish. Burke Badenhop trying to do his best in relief of Graham Taylor, who made his major league debut. Moyer is up for the 3rd time already. He's been on base both times. He's been hit by a pitch, has singled and scored. And as we pointed out, his base hit is the hardest hit base hit of the day for the Phillies.
I got a question for you, Rich.
All right.
Badenhop has thrown well. Let's see. He's got a chance maybe to get another inning in. If he continues to do so, when the spot comes up for Taylor to pitch in that Cubs series, who starts the game, Graham Taylor or Burke Badenhop?
It's a good question. As you pointed out last year, Badenhop had success out of the bullpen. Guys like that are valued in the game. You could keep Badenhop in the middle role now that Logan Kensing is gone. You need a right-handed arm in the pen.
Yeah, I think if you call Taylor up, he's up to start. And Badenhop, in a way, might be more valuable in the role coming out of the bullpen. So you may piggyback those guys in the same game.
2-2 pitch misses inside. I guess the other question would be, does Taylor's performance today warrant a second start?
I have to think so. I don't think you can judge a whole lot on. You just can't walk Jamie Moyer, though. You can't judge a whole lot on his first outing.
Badenhop walks Moyer, and we find Frank Fort. Frank?
All right, we are with the man in the hat, Manny. Manny, where'd you get this hat?
Disney. My daughter bought it for me.
Does it have any special significance?
I'm a Flintstones fan. I've always liked them, so my daughter said it'd be a good idea for me.
Right, from the Flintstones, the Grand Poobah from the Royal Order of Water Buffaloes, correct?
That's right.
So are you the official Grand Poobah?
I wish. I just come over Bueras just to have fun over here.
All right. Does it get hot?
A little bit. A little bit too much.
So, but you keep it on, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Do you ever wash this thing, Manny? I got to ask you.
Well, I gotta run to the wash every so often, but I'm always afraid that it'll all the little hairs or whatever will come off.
All right, thanks for being with us, Manny. So there you have it, Rich and Tommy, the Grand Poobah out here by the right field foul pole.
Grand Poobah!
We see that hat every now and then.
Yeah, we do.
Victorino almost got hit by that one, and it's 1-2. Victorino in the leadoff spot. Jimmy Rollins getting the day off. And so Victorino slides up to the leadoff spot with Bruntlett playing short, hitting second. And Badenhop got inside, and a good pitch to Victorino. Up comes Bruntlett. You can lock in your seating for the Marlins' new ballpark today. Purchase a current Marlins season ticket plan and reserve your spot. 1-877-MARLINS, the number to call, or visit marlins.com. And as well, on marlins.com, you can see renderings and pictures of the new ballpark. Obviously, it's where you want to be in 2012.
Always kind of associated that hat that gentleman had with the old Honeymooner series, Ralph Cramden, the Raccoon Lodge. Ralph and Ed.
Cantu makes the catch. Badenhop's mastery of the Phillies continues. Did you ever join anything like that, Kiwanis or?
No, I think the closest I got, I spoke at a Kiwanis meeting, and I think as a kid in high school I was in the Key Club. That had something, not the Glee Club, the Key Club. I think that was a subsidiary of the Kiwanis Club.
Isn't the Glee Club a new a series on? Utley takes inside from Badenhop. Utley hit a looper that fell in for a base hit, drove in 2 runs. That was back in the 4th. Now that's a Mexican wrestler, right? A luchador, I'm being told.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what that guy is.
There's a lot of headgear out here today.
Did I miss a memo? I thought this was Kids Sunday. Our Toyota Trend, 10th inning infield single, 100th against the Marlins. 25 players have done that.
Well, this base hit in the 4th inning, a 16-game hitting streak now against the Marlins.
And now 16 RBIs on the season. for Utley out of the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA.
A Bruin.
Troy Gloss, a Bruin. Jackie Robinson, a Bruin.
Jeff Conine.
Jeff Conine was a Bruin, and Jeff Conine was a pitcher. He wasn't a position player. Utley dribbles that one down the line.
We're going to have to talk someday to Niner about his collegiate pitching career.
He'll be with us next homestand.
Okay.
Which is a 4-game homestand. The Marlins come home in time to do the laundry and head right back out.
Same thing as we did this trip.
The schedule that the Marlins have the first 2 months is, in the words of some, messed up. This is a stretch of 22 of 29 on the road. Utley swings and misses. Badenhop looks sharp. He's gone 2 1/3. Scoreless relief. And he's kept the Phillies at 4. The Marlins have 1. Poll. The results are in. Fans feel that Josh Johnson will win the most games amongst Marlins starters. Ricky Nolasco finishes second. Here's the poll this week. Who's going to lead the Marlins in home runs? Cantu, Hermida, Hanley, Cody, or Ugla?
Good choices. Good choices.
Well, he's still around in more ways than one. Jamie Moyer trying to go 12-1 against the Marlins. It's not quite Roy Oswalt versus the Reds. Last we checked, Oswalt was 23-1 against Cincinnati. But then again, Moyer spent most of his career in the American League.
Yeah, we've had fun with some of the things surrounding Jamie Moyer because of his 46 years and all of his times in the major leagues. I was going back and looking at his record by each ballpark, how he's pitched in various ballparks. The Beatles' first album. And there are about 15 ballparks that he pitched in that are no longer around.
Dan Ugla, Wes Helms, Ronnie Polino in the 6th.
Fulton County Stadium and the Astrodome, Three Rivers, Tiger Stadium. He pitched in all those ballparks and they're not even around.
Shea Stadium was younger than Jamie Moyer. Now I think it's a parking lot.
There, I didn't even mark Shea Stadium.
Oh, you didn't have that on your list, huh?
Hey, he was 5-3 at Shea with a 2.26 ERA. Olympic Stadium, Qualcomm,
counts
RFK.
Counts 1 and 2. Ugla backed out because the scoreboard had 2 and 1. And I think our count is correct, 2 and 2. Dan, it's a little chopper out towards short. Bruntlett charging. Ugla beat it. And that's justice for Ugla, who went through about an 8-game stretch where he hit the ball hard and hit the ball right at people. He gets a little dribbler, about a 90-foot dribbler for a base hit.
Second base hit, so a couple of guys who have struggled against Moyer, Cody Ross and Dan Ugla, each with 2 hits this afternoon. A little squibber off the end of the bat, got out of the box quickly, could smell that base hit, and Bruntlett couldn't quite make the play. Been a couple of plays today you wonder if Jimmy Rollins would have made. Bruntlett hasn't made.
Of course, Rollins is a Gold Glover 2 times over. Helms slices that into the bullpen.
And actually, they were both balls that Dan Ugla hit. That hard shot up the middle. Remember, Bruntlett got a piece of.
Helms is 0 for 2, but one of those 2 was about a 400-foot drive to straightaway center that Victorino caught going away. And he drives this one to left center. Victorino runs this one down. You watch Victorino play, and I know you and I have had this discussion before. And Dan Ugla is a Rule 5 draft pick. Victorino was Rule 5 twice.
So a few teams missed on him.
Yes.
And a lot of that maybe is just the way he has matured as a player. But you had to have seen the speed. He's an excellent outfielder.
Yeah, the Dodgers drafted him. Padres Rule 5'd him. Phillies Rule 5'd him from the Padres. It was back in 2004. Here's Paulino. Oh and 1. Paulino has singled and popped out.
We kind of talked about it with Ibanez last night. Never an all-star with all of his success. Penn and Moyer get ready. Jamie Moyer, an all-star just once. 2003 with Seattle.
Has won 20 games a couple of times in his career. Paulino sitting on a 2-1 pitch right now.
That's the one thing though about Moyer, you can't really sit on pitches. Because at 2-1, you're still not sure what he's going to throw or what speed it's going to be.
The best advice I've ever heard about hitting against Jamie Moyer was from his former manager, Lou Piniella. Piniella, who was a terrific hitting coach himself, said when you're facing Moyer and your natural reaction for a pitcher is to think harder, think softer with Moyer. Worth makes the catch. Our Coors Light freeze cam. And the Ramirez thinking base hit, freeze it. Raul Ibanez. Well, he's been terrific in left field for the Phillies in this series. The Frostbrewed Coors Light freeze cam.
He has made 2 terrific plays. That one and then the one on Jorge Cantu in the 5th inning that looked like it might be off the wall. So again, you go back to the Phillies of the last 6-7 years with Pat Burrell out there. I'm not sure if Pat Burrell makes those plays.
No, and Ibanez is a definite upgrade defensively in left, and he might be an upgrade at the plate. He's a different kind of hitter than Burrell.
Different type hitter, yeah. More of a line drive, not going to go in elongated slumps.
Right, not as many strikeouts. Brett Carroll's on deck. Ross pulls it. Now Cody Ross in this ball game has 2 hits against Moyer. which is notable because he was 3 for 26 coming in. Counts 2-1. So normally, if you're facing Joe Average Major League pitcher and it's 2-1 and he's got a 3-run lead, you're going to get a fastball.
Yeah, most of the time.
And Cody did get a cut fastball, 81 miles an hour. Keep in mind that for some pitchers, their changeups are in the mid to high 80s.
That's Moyer's fastball. Yeah, we see Leo Nunez come in a game, and his changeup's 85, 86. That's actually a little harder than Moyer's fastball. It's all about timing, and if you can throw that hitter's timing off, you're going to have success.
Ross into left field, and Cody is 3 for 3 against Moyer.
Well, that's good to see because you know the Marlins are going to see Moyer a whole bunch this year. So it's good to see some of the guys. That's a pretty good pitch, too. He just stays on it. That front side doesn't fly off a little bit. He stayed right on it and hit it well.
Bullpen's up. Jack Tashner, the former San Francisco Giant, and Chad Durbin. Rich Doobie out to talk. Brett Carroll comes to the plate. And this is Burke Badenhop's spot. Badenhop now will leave the ballgame having gone 2 1/3 scoreless innings in relief, giving up just the 1 hit. And struck out 2. Walked 1.
I thought it was a nice at bat. I know we talked about it last night that Brett Carroll had against Brad Lidge in that 10th inning.
Boy, what a different feeling this must be at the plate. Facing Lidge with his fastball slider, now facing Moyer, who goes after Carroll, and he fouls it back. Out in front, and it's 0-2.
He's probably a really tough guy to pinch hit against. When you come off the bench, you'd rather see some guy throwing hard.
Yes.
And you come off the bench facing a soft tosser, it's always tougher.
That will do it. Strike 3 called on Carroll. Marlins lead 2 more in the 6th and trail it 4-1. with the Corona de Mayo bus as it cruises to your local grocery store or neighborhood cantina. On Monday, May 4th, head out to Blondie's and the Elbow Room in Fort Lauderdale. On Tuesday, May 5th, check out the Corona de Mayo bus at La Covacha y Rosa Mexicana in Miami. Corona is the official beer of the Timeout. Relax responsibly. Now, that can't be all that comfortable on a warm day. It's kind of a Mr. Met knockoff.
Yeah, you'd have to have some kind of circulation thing going in there, a little fan or something. I look forward to seeing Mr. Met.
Mr. Met, the new home run apple in center field.
The new apple. Now, what did we hear? It's smaller?
No.
Or is it bigger? Much bigger.
It's bigger.
Much bigger.
And much heavier. It's not like the old plywood paper mache, like, though apparently that's on display at the new ballpark somewhere.
And somehow I have the feeling that Craig will find it.
That's going to be fun watching Craig.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon. Guy that grew up
either that
around Shea.
I mean, he'll have fun. Either that. Oh, what a nice pitch. Hey, look how you throw it around the infield with the shift on. Paulino had to throw it out towards shortstop.
Hayden Penn comes in.
Good breaking ball to get a tough hitter. Look at that breaking ball just on the outer part of the plate. Yeah, Craig is either going to have a whole lot of fun or he's going to be wandering aimlessly.
Wishing he was at Shea?
Over at the grounds where Shea once was. Tearing up. Reminiscing. Well, that's a nice pitch for Hayden Penn. He gets that one working. A good curveball. He can be tough. Then he can elevate that fastball a little bit.
0-2. Worth went out, got the breaking ball, and Carroll backing up, reaches, or rather Hermida reaches up, and it pops out of his glove. The Marlins did not bring Carroll in defensively after his pinch hitting appearance, and Hermida struggling with that ball on the warning track.
Yeah, he's had a couple of struggles today. Remember that ball early in the game that Howard blooped? And this one, he's just not familiar with that wall. At this point, he's reaching and he looks just as the ball gets to the glove, hits the heel of the glove, a catchable ball, and he's going to get an error on this one.
Number 29, left fielder, Badenhop.
Marlins are going to walk Ibanez to get to Feliz. You got Feliz and Coast. Now the Phillies do have two pretty good pinch hitting bats. Actually, if you want to include Rollins in there, you got three options. Rollins a switch hitter, then the left-handed bats of Dobbs and Stairs. So Ibanez to first. Now Penn has to pitch to Feliz.
Number 7, third baseman.
Trying to keep it at 4-1 as the Marlins down to Jamie Moyer and the Phillies. So it's Marlins and Mets tomorrow night, Tuesday night.
Marlins
Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, Marlins get to see Livan Hernandez.
Mets right now are trailing Washington 4-1 in the 4th. That's in New York. Worth had a huge jump. Both runners are going, and Paulino drops the ball. Everybody is safe. A double steal. Boy, when you intentionally walk someone to set up first and second, the last thing you want is this.
Watch Ronnie Paulino. He's thinking second base. He saw the jump that Worth got from second. So had he caught that ball and released, he was trying to get Ibanez going from first to second.
Infield has to come in now on the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball and a foul ball.
Boy, a great jump by Jason Worth. We've talked about his ability as a base stealer. Last year he was 20 out of 21. He gets good jumps. He's a big guy, but he runs the bases well. And got a good jump coming in from third there.
It's an interesting call. I don't know if Helms got his glove on that ball, but it just went foul. And that would have been a disaster, because as it went by, you had the trail runner, Ibanez, who might have been able to come home as well.
Hayden Penn's thinking strikeout here.
There's the breaking ball, and it's a fly ball to the left. Not too deep. Hermida comes charging in, and he won't get that one. Worth is going to score. Ibanez hustles to third.
Can you believe another bloop base hit? It's been a rough day for Jeremy Hermida, who for the most part has made the adjustment from right field to left field okay.
Now, if there's no double steal, the infield's not in, and if the infield's not in, this is probably Hanley's ball.
Yeah, there have been a couple of balls out there. Remember the one earlier that Hanley was going after. Hermida called him off and couldn't make the play. This one he doesn't get to. And he misplayed that fly ball hit by Worth.
So the Marlins have been blooped to death. I don't think that's a stat that anybody keeps anywhere. There's a stat for everything in baseball. Infield hits, bunt hits. But bloop hits, I've never seen.
Because the bottom line is nobody cares. A hit's a hit.
Yes.
Yeah, just thinking about it, it's been a rough day for Jeremy Hermida all around. He's been caught looking twice by pitches from Jamie Moyer. One that arguably could have been a ball, and he was called out on. He's had a rough day in left field. When you're an everyday player, there are days like this.
Graham Taylor started this game. Burke Badenhop and now Hayden Penn out of the bullpen. Taylor's day went 3 2/3 innings. Walked 6, gave up 4 runs. Badenhop 2 1/3 scoreless. Ibanez from third. Felice is at first. Coast takes up.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing, Hayden Penn has made some good pitches in this inning. Just misses with that. But the pitch that Felice blooped into left field was a good curveball.
Wow.
That's wow. I'm not sure where that was, because even you don't watch where it's caught, but it goes over the plate. It's high enough. And it's over the plate. He catches it a little low, but it's not where he catches it. Tough day for Jerry Lane today.
That hit him. So the bags are loaded now. An error, a bloop, an intentional walk, and a Marlins watch party coming up on Thursday. The Marlins and the Cubs, Billy and the Mermaids, will be there at Lucky Strike Lanes. 1-877 Marlins, or go to marlins.com. You can join in. Great bowling, food, and drink specials at Lucky Strike Lanes.
And that's all for Jamie Moyer. It's going to be Greg Dobbs, the pinch hitter extraordinaire, stepping in with bases loaded and 1 out.
Yeah, Charlie Manuel smells blood, and he smells an opportunity to crack this wide open. It's 5-1 now.
And this is a tough situation because with the 1 run in already, it makes it a 5-1 game. At 4-1, things were still in reach. Now it starts to get tough, and if Dobbs comes up big, as you said, Charlie Manuel can smell it.
Penn misses down low, and it's 1-0. Dobbs appeared last night and struck out. That was back in the 9th inning. He also struck out as a pinch hitter in game 1. Ibanez, Feliz, Coast. .2-0 fastball. It's fouled back. Dobbs, a guy that came up in the Seattle organization, never could really crack the major league roster. Every year in the minor leagues, in 6 years, he hit over 300.
It's too bad. Sometimes guys get labeled, and I'm sure he was labeled, well, he can swing the bat, but he doesn't have a position.
This is 3rd year with the Phillies.
And right now, they can place him third base. They put him out there, but right now he's at his best position in the batter's box. He had a terrific postseason as well. He was 7 for 14 in 8 games in the postseason.
Lost him, and the Phillies make it 6-1. And the Marlins bullpen buckling again, although this one is not all on Hayden Penn. The error by Hermida, Feliz's blue hit.
Well, the Marlins pitching today has walked 9, one of those intentional, and hit 2.
Victorino. Ground ball, and the route is on into right field. Another run across. Coast is going to score as 2 more come in. Charlie Manuel smelled it. And now the Phillies have cracked it wide open.
Well, and that's what happens sooner or later. You're going to have a ball hit well, and when you get in those situations, bases loaded, you've walked some guys. Sooner or later, the good teams and the good hitters are going to take advantage and get that key base hit. And again, you made the point, Phillies leading the major leagues coming into today scoring 40 runs from the 7th inning on. Well, here we are in the 7th inning, and they've scored 4 times.
Bruntlett. Penn misses down low. So the Marlins have some issues. They have issues in their bullpen, and they have an issue in their number 5 starter spot. And over the last 6 games now, they have issues scoring runs.
And when you have 3 issues, at least, losing streaks take place. And the Marlins about to lose 6 in a row. 3 of the walks and 1 hit batter have scored in this one.
Bruntlett fouls it back. Two and one. Calero warming up in the bullpen. Hayden Penn has thrown 32 pitches now.
Marlins acquired Penn right at the end of spring training. Remember Robert Andino going to Baltimore.
Andino in limited duty is 4 for 12 without a home run this year.
And both guys out of options. The Marlins couldn't option Andino, and the Orioles could not option Penn, so a deal made. But it had been a couple of years since Hayden Penn last pitched in the big leagues.
I guess we should explain to those listening that haven't heard the term options. As a major league player, once your major league clock starts and you get to the big leagues, there are only a certain number of times in the early part of your career that a team can send you down to the minors.
Yeah, I believe it's three options, and you can. It's changed because I was just told the other day in talking with Larry Beinfest that you can be optioned as many times during the course of a year, but that's just once.
So as you get to, say, your 3rd year in the big leagues, your options are reduced. And when a team wants to move you from the 25-man roster down to the minor leagues,
then they have to do what the Marlins had to do with Kensing.
Designate him for assignment. And what that does is that exposes that player to the rest of the major leagues. And somebody who sees that player, if they want them, they can claim them off of waivers and put them on their roster. Foul tip into the glove of Paulino. We check in with Frank Ford. Frank, are you out of options?
I think I'm about as out of options as the Marlins are this afternoon. Guys, you mentioned the Phillies scoring from the 7th inning on with 4 more runs here in the 7th today. They now have 14 runs in this series from the 7th inning and beyond. And there's no doubt about it, and there's no mystery to it, because they have 2 of the top 5 hitters in the National League hitting from the 7th inning on, led by Chase Utley at 563, Ibanez at 458. The Marlins' Jorge Cantu also on that top 5, hitting from the 7th inning on. And the Phillies right now have done significant damage in this series in the late innings to the Fish. In fact, the 2 times previous to this, the previous 2 games coming back when they trailed in the 9th inning, The Phillies hadn't done that since 1957 at Ebbets Field, trailing going into the 9th inning, having not scored in the first 8 in the first game. In fact, in the first game, they were shut out through 8 innings. But we all know Utley's a clutch player. He had the game-winning base hit last night.
Penn misses, and the count is 1-1. Do you think he's had to buy a drink in Philadelphia over the last 3-4 years?
Chase Utley, no. He hasn't had to buy dinner either.
Roller up the middle. Hanley gets an out at second, and the inning ends. But it was a long one for Hayden Penn. 9 men came to the plate, 4 of them scored. Have 8 runs, and they've done it on a variety of bloop hits.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Big guys. There's a bloop by Ryan Howard. This one is the ball that I thought should have been caught. It was ruled a base hit. Chase Utley bloops one in the right center field. Pedro Feliz just out of the reach of Wes Helms. A tough play, a tough day all around for Jeremy Hermida. There was some balls hit hard by the Phillies that were line drives, and on the other hand, the Marlins have hit some balls hard at people.
All of this while Jamie Moyer goes 6 innings and gives way to Chad Durbin. Who will come out to face the top of the order in the 7th with the Marlins in an 8-1 hole. And if the score holds, Moyer will go to 12-1 against the Marlins.
Yeah, the Marlins in this series saw Durbin 2/3 of an inning last night. Chad Durbin came on in the 8th inning, gave up a double to Hanley.
Cameron Maben will lead it off against Durbin. On to New York and then Chicago. And the Marlins right now reeling, which it feels odd to say that, but it's true.
Yeah, reeling, and they'll have to try to get well against a couple of good teams, the Mets and the Cubs.
11-1 start, and on the verge here of dropping 6 in a row.
It's hard to imagine, but because of that 11-1 start, even a loss today, 6 straight losses, the club will still be in first place. But it certainly doesn't feel that way.
Baseball is a game of streaks, but the Marlins have taken it to an extreme. With the hottest start in the game, Maven's ground ball. Phillies gets there. Our Geico quote of this ball game comes from the quotable Charlie Manuel. When I looked at it later, the umpire had it right. If I get kicked out of a game, at least a strike there at the knees. At least I want to get kicked out on a close ball. That ball was up and in.
And we said that, I think, at the time. Charlie Manuel trying to stick up for his player, but once he went back and saw that pitch, that he would realize that the call was correct. You're going to have to take a speed reading class, Rich, to read those Geico quotes.
I gave it my best shot.
I know you did.
None of us got much sleep last night. Late night, extra innings.
There you go.
And a noon start. That was on being ejected last night. Ibanez. Got another one.
It's also been a story of left fielders today.
Ibanez has made every play in the, not just today, but in this series. He's been running all over the place.
Solid player.
He was doing, got to the ballpark early, went down to talk to some of the Phillies, and I was looking for Ibanez. And the Phillies, you know, there was no hitting. They were doing some hitting in the cage. The pitchers were out running in left field, and so was Ibanez. He was out there, and it looked like he was doing some of those jiu-jitsu exercises.
You didn't get real close to him, did you?
Well, no, I didn't want to interrupt. One thing you don't want to interrupt is a guy doing jiu-jitsu.
Used to be fun back in the 70s watching Steve Carlton go through his workouts. He didn't run with the pitchers. He did. Phillies were one of the first teams, if not the first team, to hire a strength and conditioning coach. And they did a form of karate steps, moves, kick moves. And he would go in a little area underneath Veterans Stadium and get his workout there.
Carlton?
Yeah.
I know that's one thing Moyer did change in his routine, was he stopped a lot of the running that pitchers do, distance running, trying to build up leg strength, just because of the wear and tear on his body. And a little more into the stationary bike, the stuff that's a little easier on the knees and the
Nolan
hips.
Ryan, as he got older, used to ride the stationary bike all the time.
Two and two. Hanley had an RBI single in the 5th. Marlins have had opportunities. They have left 8 on base. Worth. And a 1-2-3-7 for the Fish. Phillies on top, 8-1. game hold of the day brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. Career holds. Mike Remlinger, 19. Look at some of these names. David Weathers, Ricky Bottalico, Steve Reed, Russ Springer. Just as middle relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men Hair Color.
Mike Remlinger.
They're like
with Atlanta, the Cubs.
They are like the offensive linemen of Major League Baseball. You know,
but getting a little more notoriety with the hold, the hold thing.
And a free supply of Just for Men Hair Color as well.
Yeah. And most of them probably could use Just for Men.
See, I think the hold is actually younger than Jamie Moyer.
Oh, no question about it.
Hayden Penn is still out there. He gets Ryan Howard, Jason Worth, and Raul Ibanez.
You know, we've talked about the Marlins headed to New York. Mets are having a whole lot of trouble against the Nationals. And obviously another poor start for Oliver Perez. Nationals have an 8-1 lead in the 5th inning.
Jesus Flores has a home run in that one for the Nats. Now he got it through the shift with Helms over and Ugla out.
Jesus Flores hit a 2-run homer the other night against K-Rod.
Austin Kearns is also homered in that game.
And the Braves aren't faring too well in Cincinnati either.
8-0 Reds. Jay Bruce, a couple of home runs.
How did Oliver Perez fare in that game, Rich?
I am scurrying to that web page. 4 1/3, 9 hits, 7 runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts.
Well, there's some well-pitched games yesterday in baseball, and there were some poor outings.
You know, the guy that's pitching for the Nationals is Jordan Zimmerman. 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 run so far against the Mets. That's the top pitching prospect for the Nationals.
How about the 2 aces in that Red Sox-Yankee game yesterday? A.J. Burnett, 5 innings, 8 hits, 8 runs. Josh Beckett, 5 innings, 10 hits, 8 runs, threw 116 pitches in 5 innings. Beckett did.
Jason Worth out in front. Worth hit the ball that Hermida dropped on the warning track in the 7th inning. That helped open the door for 4 runs. Yankees in Boston tonight. Pettit against Masterson. And Hayden Penn nearly hits Jason Worth.
And the ball getting away from Paulino on to second base is Ryan Howard.
One of the hottest teams in the National League. The San Francisco Giants, who started out 3-8. The Giants have won 5 in a row and are 8-8.
Cardinals, they've won 5 in a row.
Full count now, nobody out. Hayden Penn in mop-up duty, so to speak. Graham Taylor's Major League debut, 3 2/3, 4 hits, 4 runs, 6 walks. Cubs with a quick 4-0 lead over the Cardinals in the 2nd. That means Albert Pujols hasn't driven in any runs yet. That pitch is inside, and Worth strolls down to first.
10th walk issued by Marlins pitching today.
I thought you were going to say 10th walk to the mound by Mark Wiley today. It sure seems that way. What else is happening in baseball? Trevor Hoffman has been activated
by the Brewers
off the disabled list.
Pirates got on track again. Remember, they lost the first game at San Diego in that series. They beat the Padres 10-1 last night. Zach Duke, 8 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 1 run.
Craig Monroe
had a big night, a couple of home runs.
Bad news for a former Marlin. The Tigers have had to put Matt Trainer on the disabled list with a hip injury that apparently is going to require surgery.
That thing bothered him last year.
Torn labrum in his right side. 2 to 3 months. He had surgery in October, but it was for a sports hernia. So we wish Matt a speedy recovery. Ibanez now.
We got time. And we're talking about baseball. I've been meaning to do this. I wanted to give a congratulatory shout out to a young pitcher who got called up by the Red Sox a few days ago. Hunter Jones. Hunter Jones was a local kid out of Palm Beach Gardens, went to Dwyer High School. Saw Hunter play in Little League. His dad, David, was the coach. So I know his family proud. Zach Miner out of Palm Beach Gardens High School, same high school as Chris Volstad, won last night for the Tigers.
Ibanez hooks one into right field. Ross is up with it. The Phillies are content with the bags loaded.
I think you can see how fast this infield is. We were talking about that when we were in Pittsburgh. And that central cut, as you referred to so often, with this thicker grass. And once the ball club got home, balls just shoot through that infield. That ball got by Jorge Cantu quickly.
Freddie's on his way out to the mound, and he's going into the bullpen. Kiko Calero's coming in. Here's our Marooney, called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call? Marooney!
Sun Sports, but not a good day for the Marlins. Not a good weekend for the Marlins. Not a good week.
Not a good homestand.
A short homestand.
Just hasn't been a lot good about this 3-game series. Been some excitement, been some good crowds. Over 17,000 this afternoon. Good crowds Friday and Saturday.
Kiko Calero takes over for Hayden Penn.
I guess we could say the games Friday and Saturday were good up until a point. First the ninth inning. Like the ninth inning.
Yeah, the Phillies with the 2 comebacks. Friday night, the big grand slam by Shane Victorino. Last night, they tied it in the 9th. And then Chase Utley's base hit provided a cushion. And the Phillies won in extras, with Brad Lidge coming in and shutting the door. In case you're scoring with us at home, that would be Howard. That would be Worth. And that is a Raul Ibanez.
And you're looking at a Kiko Calero pitching to Feliz. Another jam shot.
And a base hit in the left.
That one hit a little better.
Armida picks it up. Add 1 to the Phillies column.
Been a good day for Pedro Feliz. That's his 3rd hit and 2nd RBI today.
Number 27, catcher Chris Cole.
Here now is Coast.
And the Phillies continue to add on to that total of runs scored from the 7th inning on, which already led the major leagues coming into today.
Did you see the Braves finally placed Brian McCann on the disabled list? With
he was having that vision problem, yeah.
It apparently is a left eye infection.
Well, at the beginning of the year, they had David Ross, their backup catcher, on the disabled list. Now he's active. Now McCann goes on the DL.
Clint Salmons swims upstream and joins the ball club. It's come to that. It's 9-1, and it's the 8th inning.
Yeah, I would think Met announcers and Braves announcers are doing about what we're doing right now.
You think? That's 8-1 in the 5th.
Talked about some of the good and bad as far as pitching around baseball yesterday. Another poor outing for Carl Pavano of the Indians. 5 innings, 11 hits, 5 runs.
Is that such a surprise?
I think some actually, I would have to include myself in this. I thought he would have some success this year with Cleveland. But he's 0-3 with a 9.50 ERA so far.
Nice job by Paulino to hold that foul tip and get the strikeout for Calero.
I know it's a surprise for the Indians because they were counting on it as their number 3 starter.
I would suspect the Mets announcers right about now are discussing the perils of Oliver Perez.
Well, the other stat that I read going into this weekend, and now this number's gone up. Going into the weekend, the Mets starters minus Santana. So the other 4 starters had an ERA well over 7. And Livan Hernandez got hit around the other night, and Oliver Perez today, so that number's even gone up.
Here's Matt Stairs. I saw him before the game and asked him if he's still coaching hockey.
Is he?
Yes.
He loves it.
He said it'll be his 5th year of coaching hockey in Maine. High school, Division I, he said. Stairs, we were talking about his long career. He was not drafted. He played for the Canadian Olympic team and the Canadian national team. And the Expos signed him as a free agent. And that started what has been a 21-year run in professional baseball, 17 in the big leagues. I mean, I could just see him in the offseason up in Maine, all bundled up, goes to the cage, takes a few hacks.
And then goes and coaches hockey.
Then goes and coaches hockey.
He has, and I say this with bases loaded, he has 11 career grand slams. Now, I was thinking about that because I mentioned earlier Albert Pujols yesterday for the Cardinals hit his second grand slam of this season, and Pujols has 8 career grand slams. And I think Albert's in his 9th year.
But for a guy like Stairs, a world championship last year had to be so satisfying. He and a guy like Moyer, who have had long careers, finally get a chance. 3-1 to Stairs. His cut, we've said it looks like one of those softball exhibition guys.
Yeah.
These are the guys that were here yesterday, and they all swung just like Matt Stairs.
The guy who was up there, the left-handed hitter, for a second I thought it was Stairs. Just think he can go back this winter and show those kids on his hockey team that championship ring, too.
He's not a very tall guy. When you get up next to him,
I'm guessing 5'9", 5'10".
But he is thick and strong. He takes inside. So the parade continues.
And the walks continue. 11 walks on the day. One of those intentional, so still double figures. And of course, Worth scored this inning. He reached on a walk. Both pinch hitters, Dobbs and Stairs, walked with the bases loaded.
Little pop-up, and it's over in the seats. That Reds-Braves game, their announcers probably are talking about the Men of Steel and high school hockey coaches as well, because the Reds are clobbering the Braves. 8-0 in the 7th inning in Cincinnati.
Well, the Braves beat them 10-2 last night. Big night for Chipper Jones and Yunel Escobar, but the tables turned today.
Chipper has a couple hits in the game. That's about it for the Braves. Kenshin Kawakami got blasted. 4 2/3, 8 hits, 8 runs. His ERA is over 7. Micah Owings is cruising for the Reds. Owings also has a hit in the game.
Yeah, how many hits does he have?
1 for 2. Got to check that with him. That would be a fair ball. And the Phillies are going to score with Ibanez and Felice. Stairs will stop at third. And the routes continues. Stairs might call that a route. 12-1.
Yeah, right over the bag. I mean, he's gotten big hits all series. None bigger than that grand slam he hit the other night. So Victorino with 4 RBIs in this one.
Bruntlett takes down low.
So Victorino came into this series with 5 RBIs. And he has 13 now.
Marlins infield halfway with runners second and third.
You know, the other note that I read on Albert Pujols with the grand slam he hit, his RBI total now 1,002, and he's the 5th major league player in history to reach 1,000 RBIs in 9 seasons. King Albert.
Add that Gold Glove that he has, and that makes him, in the mind of a lot of people, baseball's best player.
Discipline. You think of players who could win a Triple Crown. He could, because he hits 350, and right now leading the league in home runs and RBIs.
To left, Stairs is tagging. Maben makes the catch, and Stairs comes across 13-1. Seems like a good enough time for the Land Rover extraordinary play of the day. Raul Ibanez has been everywhere. He even ran right by the new stadium in his hometown.
Boy, this is the second inning in a row. The Phillies did it in the 7th. Second inning in a row they've sent 9 men to bat. Who's this? Miguel Cairo is going to pinch hit for Chase Utley,
who gets the rest of the day off. Broken bat. Ugla snares it. Inning over, more runs. 13-1 Phillies. And of course, just to rub it in, this was a Jamie Moyer start.
Well, and he did what we've seen him do ever since he's become a Philadelphia Philly. Picked apart the plate, changed speeds, cut the fastball in, got guys on pitches in, struck out players on pitches away, and it looks like he's going to go to 12-1 in his career against the Marlins, and he's going to win his 249th game.
I'm told the 24th Amendment was the poll tax. Is that right? They abolished the poll tax. That's even younger than Moyer. J.A. Happ takes over for Chad Durbin. Marlins are headed to New York. It won't be cold in New York, at least not for the next couple of days.
Yeah, I think we're going to get 80 degrees in the daytime.
Cantu goes after a fastball and lifts it out into center field. Victorino fighting the sun, makes the catch. Remember a couple years ago when Jason Wood actually pitched in a ball game
and had a nice inning? Cody Ross has been begging Freddie Gonzalez to do the same, and it looks like Cody's getting loose. And you know what? The 9th inning is Cody's.
I wonder if he's got a song, an entrance song.
Legend has it that Cody Ross in high school threw a perfect game. Got a strong arm, and he's got the looks of that nice left-handed pitcher.
Uggla breaks his bat. Felice has had a busy day at third. And there's 2 outs.
A couple of, if you pick some of the little good things that happened, Cody Ross and Dan Uggla each had a couple of hits off Jamie Moyer, and they had struggled mightily against Moyer. But this ball gets in on Dan, jam shot, ground ball, so it's a little bit of good. And also Cody got another hit, so 3 hits in the game for Cody Ross.
I've got some more legendary stuff for Cody Ross.
All right.
His father, Kenny Ross,
who we saw at last homestand here,
has had 5 knee surgeries, 3 while playing football at New Mexico, University of New Mexico, and a couple more as a steer wrestler. He, of course, a rodeo guy. Cody grew up around the rodeo, always wanted to be a rodeo clown. And he trots in from the bullpen.
Yeah, a couple batters, he's up. He's got to get ready just in case.
Carlsbad High School in New Mexico. Helm strikes out. Let's see it. Let's see if Cody Ross. There he goes. Now he'll walk out to the mound. things up in a 13-1 ball game. It's a kid Sunday. Why not let the inner kid come out in Cody Ross? And he gets to fulfill a dream and pitch in the big leagues. His first appearance on the mound. And of course, he got out to the mound ready to go, and there's nobody there to warm him up.
Well, they figure he's loose. He's been playing right field. Got a few hits, has 3 hits today.
Ronnie Paulino finally got out there.
And look, he gets to face Ryan Howard, Jason Worth, and Raul Ibanez.
So Ross gets to stare down Ryan Howard.
And obviously Freddie does this to save whoever's in that bullpen. No sense in bringing somebody else in. The crowd gets into it. They're chanting Cody.
And Ross delivers. Ball 1. Jason Wood, the last to appear as a pitcher for the Marlins.
And if I recall, he had a 1-2-3 inning.
78 on the gun. Now, the last thing you want to do if you're Cody Ross is try to, touch the 90s and blow your arm out.
Well, the thing you don't want him to get hurt, number one. You're Freddie Gonzalez. Cody's a big part of this ball club in right field and offensively.
Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball.
Breaking ball.
Howard pops it up. Hanley battling the sun, doesn't see it, and it drops foul. And so it's 1-2.
I can honestly say I know the feeling because one year with the Expos, I got to pitch an inning in St. Louis.
Who did you face?
I faced Ted Simmons, Keith Hernandez, Leon Durham.
Wait a minute, this isn't sounding too good as you go down the list of hitters.
It wasn't. Hey, I got out of the inning, though. I got 3 outs. I
think that was his changeup. Don't you have a scouting report on him? Come on.
We'll give his dad a quick call in New Mexico.
Now, you know what? There's no way Jerry Lane is going to ring Ryan Howard up on a pitch like that from a right fielder.
The other thing, as a hitter, facing a position player who's out there in a game like this, it's a no-win situation. If you make it out, everybody gets all over you. If you get a hit, why not? You should.
Howard hits a high fly ball. Meziga's out in right, Maven's at center, and boy, it's got to be tough to see. Everybody's losing balls up there.
You want a scouting report? We'll give you a little pitch by pitch. Cody Ross just trying to get one over, misses. Nerves are there a little bit. Now pours a strike into Ryan Howard. Another one. Now watch the breaking ball. Oh, he kind of hung it inside, but Howard popped it out of play. Comes right back. Fastball misses. Decides to stay with the heat. Goes upstairs with fastballs and gets him on the fly ball. 1 up, 1 down.
He has topped out at 82 miles an hour.
Well, he's been watching Moyer all day. He may turn one over a little bit. Got a good windup though, doesn't he?
83. So the perfect game at Carlsbad High School, growing up in New Mexico, where his dad was a football star at the University of New Mexico.
I'll tell you what he'll notice, and this is what I noticed after doing that. He used to throw a little BP once in a while. I don't think Cody even does that. I was sore the next day.
Hanley in the hole. Worth legs out a hit.
Legs were sore, backside, because I was out there doing things that I wasn't used to doing. So you hope he doesn't get too sore.
Number 29,
and of course you want to chart the pitches just to make sure you give Cody his due.
Yeah. You might want to autograph that and give it to Cody.
Ibanez crunches one to center. Maben makes the catch.
Cody pitching to contact and pitching to dead center, where he knows you have to really hit one to get it out.
You think somewhere Graham Taylor is watching this and saying to himself, you know, if Cody Ross can get these guys out.
Well, it all goes down to throwing strikes. Yeah, if Cody Ross was out there on a regular basis, he would get hit. But you know what? You make a mistake, throw a pitch up like that, a guy can hit a long fly ball and you get an out.
Here's Phillies. 3 consecutive hits for Phillies.
He's leaving the fastball up a little bit.
You think Mark Wiley will come out and make an adjustment?
He's working out of the stretch, too. I don't think he planned on that.
Got good tempo. 3-1. To right, Ameziga makes the catch. Cody Ross works a scoreless.
Yeah, tip your
ninth.
cap to Cody. Attaway.
Sun Sports brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. Buy tobacco-free Florida. Need help to quit smoking? Call the Quit Line. 877-YOU-CAN-NOW for counseling, information, and tips on how to succeed. And by Honda South Florida. Visit your South Florida Honda dealers online at sfhondadealers.com to find a deal on fuel-efficient Hondas. Cody Ross with a scoreless inning in relief.
I just had a crazy thought. Preceding every series, we get a nice sheet that has the matchups. You know, what the hitters have done against Jamie Moyer, what hitters have done against Marlins pitchers. You think Cody will be on that list the next time we see the Phillies?
We'll look for it. Because everybody knows when you face the Phillies, you need as many good left arms out of the bullpen as you can get. Where did this game get out of control? Paulino into right field. Victorino won't get there. Paulino will get as far as second base.
Well, a 2-for-4 day for Ronnie Paulino, who continues his attack against left-handed pitching. Eight for 18 this year against lefties. Days back, has good swings. I think we've seen all the outfielders have trouble today. Not an easy day. Day games with the bright sunshine, not easy here at Dolphin Stadium. If you'd like to know, Rich, Cody Ross threw 19 pitches, 12 strikes, 2 out of 4 first pitch strikes, and most importantly, no walks.
Three for 3 as well. And importantly, those 3 hits came against Jamie Moyer, a guy that had baffled Ross throughout his career. Washington continues to beat the Mets 8-1 in the 7th. Paulino at third base. J.A. Happ, second inning relief. Down he goes.
Well, he's a pitcher now. You can't expect a whole lot.
You know, if he had gotten on base, do you think he would have asked for a coat?
For the jacket. Yeah, he's frustrated, though. He wanted to pick up that run at third base.
Here's a Mezigan. Alfredo, his first at bat of the ball game. Paulino's at third base in a runaway of a game. And Alfredo goes after the fastball, hits out to center. And that's going to drive in the run. Paulino tags, and he will score.
Rich, as bad as it's all been today, with Atlanta losing, with the Mets losing, the Phillies will gain ground. Obviously, they'll have a game and a half behind the Marlins, but the Marlins will have a lead on Atlanta and New York, and they'll have a game and a half lead on these Phillies. Just trying to look at the bright side.
Oh, and 1 to Maben.
Right now, Cameron is not comfortable at the plate.
Wipe that smile off your face. Well, there are issues at the top and at the bottom of the order. Emilio Bonifacio is not real comfortable at the plate right now, and Maben has yet to get going. And when you're 11-1, that's okay. But now that the Marlins have dropped 6 in a row, the Marlins have some issues. The Philly fanatic is dancing somewhere because the Phillies